And this sort of, sometimes people ask me, what do you think about the boycott of the Olympics? It was a very controversial step by Jimmy Carter. He got a lot of criticism for it. There was much divided feeling, even in the embassy. The embassy did not recommend boycotting the Olympics. The embassy did not want to recommend actually any sanctions at the time. They were very reluctant to give up sort of bureaucratic turf. As it turned out, as you know, Jimmy Carter did everything. He sort of cut a lot of the cultural exchanges that we had, stopped selling wheat to the Soviet Union. But the most dramatic sanction after Afghanistan was the boycott of the Olympics. And sometimes, you know, people ask me, well, was it the right thing to do? Do you think it was the right thing to do? Well, it's very hard to say. I know if I were an athlete who had trained for the Olympics, you know, for half of my lifetime, I certainly would have been very unhappy. And I know it had a direct consequence on Los Angeles, because then the Soviets boycotted the Los Angeles Olympics 4 years later in retaliation. But the one thing you can say about it, and this is why they were shocked by it, the Soviets were shocked by it, and they were not expecting it. And they did not think that Jimmy Carter would go that far to do it. And the reason they were really hurt by it is it was the one thing they could not hide from their own people. Their own people did not know whether we sold wheat or not to the Soviet Union. The average Soviet did not know if there were cultural exchanges going on with the Soviet Union. But here the Olympics started, and where were the Americans? Where were the British? Where were the Canadians? Where was half the world? They could no longer deny the fact that there had been this intense criticism of the invasion. And in that respect, it was sort of, I mean, this was a unique consequence of this sanction that did have, I think it really did have effect, and it affected the Soviet Union. But I know that I would see it differently, as I say, if I had been an athlete training to compete, because it did spoil 2 Olympic competitions in a row. So.